fun little pickpocket sequence. Nate in the audience meets one of the main antagonists. Nate sneaks away, there's a cutscene with his waiter. They pull off the heist in a dramatic cutscene, but things are getting dicey. Guns are involved, but it's mostly a stealth section. Then Nate has to fight Nadine. He's thrown out this window into an all-out shootout. Run and gun out the door. Sally, grab the car! It's chaos. Bullets are everywhere. Jump in, we need to go! Woo! Yeah, go! We escape the mansion with basically the first clue in a grand adventure that has barely even gotten started. And that's not even the beginning of the game. It is like the 6th chapter. It's not enough that Uncharted 4's gameplay crushes Outlaws with zero effort.
Wow.
But it also tells a gripping narrative that wasn't built up after a level was made.
So is this like a two brothers type of story? Like an army of two, but like... I don't know.
The story was written first, then the level was made. This is a story about characters you care about, who change and evolve. What's wild is that despite these two sequences being so similar, the comparison doesn't even feel fair. Uncharted 4 pulls away as the better, funner, more interesting game in every category you could list. Even the categories Outlaws does have over it, like having an open world, Uncharted 4 just doesn't even try to compete, and it's better for it.
Yeah.
So why is that? I was running out of ideas. It wasn't clear to me what this game was.
Somebody I know, their favorite game is Uncharted. I kind of get a little bit why actually now.
But I wanted to give it more time. After all, I hadn't even gotten to the selling point yet. The open world. The, quote, first Star Wars open world, unquote. So I kept playing the game. Then finally, after like 2 hours of introductory gameplay, I got my first mission out in the open world space.
So, before we talk about open world, I think I want to give my opinion about what I think a good open world would be. Which, one, I wouldn't want the world to revolve around me. I would want my character to feel like they are existing within this world. Not like the world is like I'm the most important character, you know. I think The Witcher 3 does something like that, you know. Yeah, no, The Witcher 3 is a good example of that, actually. He's never the king, you know. Like, he's just a really well-paid monster killer. But I think that's one part, is that you don't want the world to revolve around you. I think the other part is that, like, the issue comes with the fact you have a lot of space in this world. I think that maybe having like many cities have their own like quest lines that you visit, and then they're like maybe like not like they're like disconnected from each other in a way. So like you feel like you could roam from city to city to city. Actually, no. Let me watch this. I'm curious what his definition of the open world is.
And the mission was Far Cry camp. Okay, sure. Luckily, I got an idea while sneaking in. I played with Nyx for a bit already, but this is the first time I had an actual mission to complete that wasn't just a linear stealth or shooting section. And I realized Nyx kinda acted like a diet hacking system from Watch Dogs. So after I made that revelation, my first thought was to compare the game to Watch Dogs 2. But after a bit of testing, it was such an unfair competition between the two that I knew it wasn't gonna work. Basically, the only thing Nyx can do is distract an enemy or interact with things from a little further away than normal. Compared to hacking in Watch Dogs, it was kinda sad. By the way, Watch Dogs 2 slaps, so if you haven't played it, definitely pick up that over this, because that is a way better video game. But I'm getting to it. So, since Watch Dogs 2 wasn't going to work, I settled on another Ubisoft third-person shooter, Ghost Recon Wildlands. Both games are open world, third-person shooters with Far Cry camps, and I couldn't think of a better example in the moment. Plus, I liked Wildlands, and I was still holding out hope that I might like this game. But this comparison, this was the one that made me realize that Outlaws isn't just Diet Hitman, or a less fun Uncharted. There is no saving this game. The gameplay loop for both of them is sneaking into a Far Cry camp where you either do everything right and you get in and out without ever being seen, or you accidentally alert all the enemies in the area when you take down a guy with an explosive barrel. And again, things started out strong. This sequence in the Imperial base was my favorite moment in the whole game because it did this pretty well. There were enough vents and interactable objects to make sneaking in fun, and when I got caught, it felt actually tense because this was the Empire, basically GTA cops. And the longer I was there, the more high-level enemies would show up. So I frantically tried to complete the objective, and I snuck high-level enemies.
Something that would take me out just a little bit is you see how she completely punched the, like, isn't that metal for the face? She punched that metal with her hand. Like, unless she's a boxer, like, I don't see, like, her being able to do that and just be like, yeah.
Show up. So I frantically tried to complete the objective, and I snuck away as best I could before speeding away on my bike with the Empire on my tail. It was awesome. It was also about 30 minutes in the 8 to 10 hours I played of Outlaws. But you see, something's been gnawing at me for a while. I've been writing down my thoughts on the game, and I was thinking, if this section was fun, why did it all fall apart the moment I did any other mission that wasn't against the Empire? And why did everything feel so limited? Like, I didn't have many options. It was always so simplistic. Wildlands wasn't getting me anywhere. So to find my answer, I looked for some other Ubisoft games. And I was hit with how dumb I was, because the answer was really obvious. Ghost Recon Wildlands, Far Cry, Watch Dogs. These titles are open world sandboxes, which means that the different game systems inside of them interact with each other. If you want a visual representation, all three of them have some version of this. You have a remote explosive device, like a C4, you place it on a car, and then you drive into a camp where you then jump out of the car and blow it up.
Yeah.
These are two different systems. It's a car system and the explosive system. But because of player ingenuity, they're working together and you're able to use it to your advantage. The game doesn't tell you how to do this. You do it on your own because you're just smart like that. Outlaws has none of this. It isn't an open world sandbox game because the systems don't interface with each other. Each one is separate. You can't stun a guy and make him accidentally shoot his friends. You can't close a door by shooting a panel to crush an enemy or even just to look cool. You don't have any gadgets besides basic grenades and your pistol. You can't steal vehicles
or pistols in this game? Because if you do, that's incredibly disappointing.
Art fires or do anything except punch and shoot. And also slide, but I mean, I like sliding. The game only lets you have fun when it says you're allowed to. It only lets you do the things that you're allowed to do. Because why would I be able to rob people in an Outlaw game? So if this isn't a Hitman stealth game, and it isn't an Uncharted adventure, and it isn't a Ubisoft open world sandbox, what is this game?
It's Far Cry 3, but in a primal... Wait, don't they have Far Cry 3 primal? It's like a very basic adventure survival game.
Then it hit me. There is only one other Ubisoft franchise it could be. And suddenly it all made sense. The barely there story, the boring characters, the lack of combat options, the bare-bones stealth, the stupid fucking...
The dumb combat options, the dumb NPCs, the dumb weapons, the dumb missions, the dumb dialogue.
Climbing. This is just Assassin's Creed with guns and no parkour. Ah! Are you serious? Whew. Sorry. I've calmed down. So, that leaves us with two questions. First, how did we let this happen? And second, what did I do to deserve this? I think the answer is clear. Not the second one, the first one. Focus. Or in Outlaw's case, a lack thereof. Every game I've listed up until this point had a clear focus. It was trying to be one distinct thing.
Yeah.
There are plenty of different gameplay systems and ideas that make up each of these titles. But at their core, they have a single identity. And maybe more importantly, Each game found its own identity. Just because Uncharted is an action movie video game doesn't mean it didn't find its own gameplay systems. Just because Watch Dogs 2 is based on Ubisoft's previous sandbox entries doesn't mean its hacking isn't completely new and fresh. It really did find its own identity. Outlaws doesn't have that. Not only is it not focused on a single thing, instead trying to be like a bit of 3 or 4 games at once, but it also doesn't have an identity of its own. Its identity was borrowed. Its gameplay systems were borrowed. Its gameplay loop was borrowed. Even its story and world were, yes, you know it, borrowed. And just like real life, when you meet somebody who borrows all their personality traits from other things and other properties, you can tell.
Okay, I do that. So I do borrow my own personality traits from people I watch. So I don't know. I feel like you. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that.
It feels insecure. Like Outlaws can't be confident in itself. And the saddest part to me about this whole thing is that Massive already found a clear identity for their last game. The Division 1, but especially 2, has some of the best cover shooting gameplay of any game ever. That was a game that knew its gameplay loop's identity, even if it struggled on the MMO side of things. If we got a Star Wars game that played like that, especially if it was multiplayer, dude, imagine a Star Wars game that played like that and it was co-op. No, I wouldn't be making this video. Oh, and if you're about to comment something like, wait, are you saying that Assassin's Creed is bad too? Then yes.
Dude, I'm kind of digging that music in the back.
A time without minutes.
Interesting. Wait, he just ends it right there? Anyway, that's the end of the video. Me personally, I kind of feel a little sick today. You know, so this video and the video about the the hotel I posted. So yeah, anyway, that'll be it today.